How do you give the world's greatest feedback? And what does that even look like? Well, in order to qualify as the world's greatest feedback, it must do a number of things. Number one, it must improve performance. If it's not improving performance, it really doesn't qualify as very useful feedback. In addition to that, we also want to reinforce what's working by acknowledging the wins. What went well so they can redo that or replicate that in the future. In addition to focusing on the behavior of what they did well and what they want to do differently in the future, we also want them to develop their own ability to be critical about their behavior so that they can improve their results even when you are not around, which means we want to help promote self-awareness and independence. In addition, we also want to make sure that they hear the feedback, remember it, and apply it later on so they can improve their results. To do that, we want to minimize resistance. We already did a whole video on that, on why people hate feedback to begin with. I'll put a link down inside the description. Now, as we're going forward, we also want to make sure that we're crafting that perfect piece of feedback so that they can actually digest it. One of my mentors one time told me that feedback has to be digestible. And he said it this way: you can't feed steak to a baby. It might be amazing, but they're not ready to swallow it. So we want to deliver that perfect level of feedback that is just enough of a stretch that they can comprehend it and strive towards achieving that. And the last thing to qualify as the greatest feedback of all time is that it can't take too much of your time. You can't be sitting there for hours and hours designing exactly what to say. So it must take minimal time to develop and deliver because you have many other things to do in your life. And the question is, can you even give feedback that does all that? And the answer is no, you can't. Well, it's not that you can't do it, it's just that it can't come from you. And then in fact, the only way to do this is what I call sifting for gold. Now, sifting for gold is an acronym with the first four letters, SIFT, which stands for the self-identified feedback technique. Yes, you heard me correctly. The best feedback that people can receive is the feedback that they give themselves. Now, we're not going to leave this to chance. We're going to actually still guide them through the process of best and better. In fact, you have them answer that question. What do you think you did best and what could you do better? And we'll talk about that in a moment. The other thing that this does is it allows you to identify where are they right now in terms of their self-evaluation. And you can identify overlap on where you can build. You might start with I agree and then add some other details, which we'll talk about in just a moment. In addition to finding points where you agree, you can also discover gaps in terms of knowledge and skills and things that they didn't even think about. And that can help us deliver that perfect level of feedback to get them to where we really need them to be. And the best part about all of this is that they actually become independent and less reliant upon you as the expert telling them what they should and should not do. And so how to do it is we're going to take the best and better format, but instead of us delivering it, we're going to start by asking them, hey, what do you think you did best on this project, presentation, or whatever it is that you want them to think about? After they give you that answer, then you're going to shift over into, and what do you want to do differently next time to make it even better? Now, instead of just getting one answer though, you might want to probe a little bit more deeply to get 1 to 3 insights per best and 1 to 3 insights per better. Ask what else a couple times to make it even better. As I'm sure you can appreciate right now, when you're sifting for gold and doing the self-identified feedback technique, you're hitting all the points we talked about in terms of what it takes to be the world's greatest feedback. You're improving performance. You're acknowledging wins. You're developing self-awareness and independence. And you're minimizing resistance. At this point, they've only given themselves feedback, so there's really nothing to resist. And it's the perfect level of feedback for them because it came from their own mind and their own awareness of what's going on. And it's giving you tons of information about their own competence and confidence along the way. And the best part of all is that it minimizes your time because all you have to do to make it happen is ask them, hey, what do you think you did best? And what could you do differently in the future to make it even better? Now, once they're done sharing their best and better, then it's your turn to deliver the best and better. You can affirm their wins and also highlight any additional best that they didn't identify through their own self-analysis and add in the next level about what they can do better as well. So the next time someone asks you for feedback, all you have to do is turn it right back around to them and help them sift for gold. What do you like best and what would you do differently in the future to make it even better? And if you want to go even deeper on how to bridge from their own self-identified feedback to the feedback that you want to deliver, check out the video on screen and we'll dive in on how to connect this all together. Until next time, develop yourself, empower others, and lead by example.